Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be answering your questions. Lots of people submitted Q&A questions and I'm just going to answer those in a video for you all. I have them all written down. So the first question is, how did this school year compare to previous school years? I shared this in my video where I did the end of the year review, in that this school year was hard. It started out just out of order is the words that I will use. It was crazy. And I kind of feel like we didn't necessarily recover. We did have some amazing moments this school year, lots of amazing moments, but it was hard to kind of get back in the groove. So some things that we put down at the beginning of the school year, like within the first 2 to 3 months, we never really picked back up fully throughout the school year. And that's okay, it happens. But it wasn't our major. So what I can say is that we stuck to the major things. We stuck to our math, we stuck to our grammar. You know, we even did spelling, we did our reading. We even continued with our history curriculum because I really wanted to focus on history. And so I'm proud of what we did do, but this year in comparison to all the other years, it kind of like threw a wrench in our lives. But it wasn't just homeschool, it was everything surrounding it. So it was extracurricular activities that the girls were involved in that affected our homeschool and how it operated. And that's not a negative way. I don't regret my girls having the opportunity to participate in extracurriculars. I just needed to organize things a lot differently, and I could not do that in the moment while we were in the thick of doing it. I was just kind of like in survival mode, like a few more weeks, we got to get through these extracurriculars and some things will drop off and it'll be better. And it was better. We just never picked up some of the things that we set down when we were rushing through that time. So all in all, still, I rate the year like a 7 or 8. The next question is, what curriculum did we not get around to or finish this year that I wish that we could have? There were a lot. Honestly, we did not finish our art. I forgot that we even started Spanish and didn't finish that again this year. But I don't regret that so much. But art, definitely, because we really enjoy art, and that was just a fun piece that was missing from our lives this school year. It's something that we really enjoy, and even without an art curriculum, we love crafts just in general, and just sitting down with some canvases and just painting whatever we want, or putting things together with Play-Doh or putty or anything, drawing, sitting down and drawing a picture in front of the TV. Like, those are things that we just didn't get to touch on this year. So if I had to pick one thing, I would definitely say art. Favorite read aloud from the year? I'm probably going to say that it's Miss Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, but that's because there was so much activity that went along with it, and we got to do a literature study on it. But we read a ton of read alouds this year, and I have to be honest, I did not keep a very good record of those read alouds. Some were related to our history curriculum, some were just things that we picked up, some where we were walking through the library and I'm like, oh, that looks interesting, or my youngest daughter's like, I want to read this, and she grabs it off the shelf, so we check it out from the library. We have read a ton of books this year that have just been fun books for us to read. We also finished off at Christmas time The Vanderbeekers of 141st Street, which was an awesome read. We started it last year around Christmas time and we never finished it. So we checked it out again from the library this year and we finished that one. And that was really good to see, really get to the end and see what happens with the family and the kids and everything, which was really good. So I would probably say those 2 books would be the top of my list, simply because I remember them, which means that they stood out in my mind for whatever reason. The Rats of Nim was great because we got to watch the movie afterwards and did all the crafts and everything. So I'm definitely going to do a better job this upcoming school year of keeping track of our read alouds. Now, my girls keep track of the books that they read individual, like their independent reads. They keep track of those. They have a book where they put them in there, so I could go and look at all those, but those aren't our read alouds. A lot of those I did not read with them. Those are just books that they went off and read all on their own. So those 2 books, Miss Frisbee and the Rats of Nim and The Vanderbeekers of 141st Street. Okay, so this next question is, how did me and my husband meet? We met through a college friend, 20 years ago. We have been in a relationship and a marriage. We've been married for almost 14 years and we've been in a relationship for almost 20 years. So a long time, but we met through a college friend. And the next part of that question was, has he always been on board with us homeschooling? I'll say no and yes. When I first told him and thought about, man, we should try to homeschool, it wasn't that he didn't say no. He didn't give me a look like, you're crazy, woman. It was kind of like, Tell me more. And so that's kind of how it progressed from there. We were in the process of looking for schools. I have a video that I did with him a little bit over a year ago, and I'll link it down below if you want to just hear the full story from beginning to end. He was in that video with me as well. And so that's just kind of how we progress. He is full on 100% supportive of everything that we do within our homeschool. We talk about budget. He does not homeschool our girls though. If I ask him, he will definitely do Bible and science, but that's just not his area. And he knows that, I know that, and that's okay. It doesn't bother me. But also he travels a lot for work. And so sometimes he's just not here to be able to do those things with us. But if I say, if he's home and I'm like, hey, you want to do Bible today? He's like, sure. And he'll go and grab whatever and he'll come up and do his own Bible lesson with the girls. It's awesome. He always asks about how our day is going. He really helps us keep things organized. Like, he's involved, but he's not a teacher. He's like the superintendent and the principal of our homeschool. Okay, another question I got is share what we eat in a day. So if you follow us over on Instagram, we are a plant-based family. And we have been now for 5 years. And so a lot of times I will get on there and I will share like what we're eating. We do a lot of meal prep. So our breakfast, we have our same staples: breakfast burritos, breakfast tacos, oatmeal, oat bowls, smoothie bowls. What else? Biscuits, muffins, waffles, pancakes. We kind of just rotate through a lot of those different things in a 1.5 to 2 week time frame. We will put them in the freezer. We have breakfast sandwiches. And so a breakfast burrito would be like potatoes, chickpeas, maybe black beans for my oldest girls. We'll do some vegan cheese sometimes in a tortilla, and we freeze it and then we bake it in the oven, and that would be their breakfast. We do a lot of fresh fruit, lots of fresh vegetables. That's pretty much how we eat. My youngest daughter has a ton of allergies, so she is gluten-free and we are dairy-free. She also cannot have nuts. So there's a lot that goes into how we plan. If anybody's ever interested, I've done a few videos on what we eat and how we plan and all the things. And I know that can be helpful. We just have a system over here that works, and thank God my youngest helps a lot too, but my oldest daughters are really able to, I can hand them a recipe and say, here, go make this. They know, they prep, and it works really great for our family because we are on the go a lot. So we have to have our meals prepared so that we're not just out in these streets spending all of the superintendent's money. No, but we definitely plan to help keep our budget down. Another question is, what keeps me motivated throughout the day? God, number one. I always dig deep into that, and I'm like, Lord, I need your strength because I know that I can't do this on my own, right? Motivation when I look around is my girls thriving. And it's sad to say, but the condition of our world keeps me motivated to stay focused and really grounded in God's word and to really be there for my family. It's just, we're living in rough times right now. And I know that that's where I have to be. And it brings stability, specifically for my girls. They need to see their mother studying God's word, praying, being grounded in all the things of the Lord, and leading them according to his will. And I pray that prayer in front of them so that they can hear me and understand that I am speaking to God to get the direction that I need to lead them, not according to what I want, but according to what he would have for their lives. I stay motivated because I want what's best for my girls. I stay motivated because I need to. I stay motivated because I want to. Now, are there days where I'm not motivated? Absolutely. There are days where I just want to stay in the bed. But when I think about it and I'm like, whew, I need to be able to push my girls and not push them in a negative way. Because a lot of times we'll think, oh, we don't want to push our kids to do this and this, but to just help them to understand that there are going to be days where you're not 100%, and that's okay. Get something, do something. And that's kind of how I am. I'm like, okay, we may not be able to do all 17,000 things on the list, but we're going to do one. And that is a huge accomplishment. And a lot of times doing one leads to another, which can lead to another, because it helps to get you motivated because you see an accomplishment. You're like, wow, I did that. Even though I'm feeling tired and stressed and hungry and frustrated and overwhelmed, all the things, I did one thing. So now let's see what else I can do. That is the thought process that I have when it comes to just moving throughout our days and lives when things get hard. Even when things aren't hard, I'm still like, man, if I can just accomplish this one thing, I can move on to something else. So let's do this. So that is how I stay motivated. Another question that came through is, how do I find the time and energy to exercise? I exercise 6 days a week. I'm still a work in progress. Over the last couple of years, I have lost about 60 pounds and I'm still pushing forward. My goal is to be healthy. So my motivation and energy and time, there are a lot of times where I don't have the energy to exercise, but I might do a stretch. I might do just a core workout. I might just do an upper body strength workout for 10 minutes. I might take my girls and we just go walk in the neighborhood for 1.5 miles. Moving my body is what I started out doing. And then I added in a little bit more strenuous work because I have goals for myself. But I want to be able to run up and down the street with my kids, y'all. Like, that is something that I've always said, and I can do that now. So I want to hang on to that. I want to be able to do that with my grandchildren. I want to be able to, if God blesses me with grandchildren, I want to be able to take care of them, drive them around the city and do all kind of stuff with them and go to all their games and activities. I want to be there in the best health that I possibly can. So my energy comes from that. That is what keeps me focused on that. Time-wise, I prioritize it. It has to be a priority because I know that I feel better. I have more energy when I work out. If I go 2-3 days without exercising, I feel worse than if I was exercising for 20 or 30 minutes every day. So I have to do it. My body is at a point where it's like, exercise or you're gonna feel bad. And I don't want to feel bad. I don't like that feeling, the sluggish, dragging feeling. So I get up early in the morning. I get out of bed in enough time to be able to at least get 30 minutes of hardcore workout in. Usually I'm 30 minutes to an hour. And I shower and I do my Bible study and I move on with my day. But it is a must. And also I incorporate my children. If I can get my children to come on board with me, and they do majority of the time, I don't feel like I'm leaving them to go and do something because they're with me. So that's a learning experience for them to see their mother taking care of herself. So I do it. I have the time, I have the energy, and I do it. But I also eat a lot better now than what I used to. And that food that I eat gives me the energy to be able to complete workouts almost every single day. The next question is, how do I plan for extracurricular activities and life in general? So extracurricular activities, I really don't have a plan. I sit down and I ask my girls what they want to participate in. We are a family that's big on extracurriculars, and I want the girls to have all the opportunities they possibly can to participate in them. And so I ask them, what is it that you want to do? Maybe you want to try this. We try them and, put them in different things so that they can try and just kind of figure out what they do and don't like. One thing that we don't go for is, hey, you want to try this? And they're like, no, I don't like it. Well, how do you know if you've never done it before? So that's one thing that, the girls know, that they can't say that to us and we not dig deeper and try to figure out what's going on, because a lot of times they don't know. If you've never played tennis, how can you say you don't like tennis? I mean, let's be honest, Even as adults, we do that. I don't like that. We don't like this food and we've never tasted it before, or this activity and we've never done it before. I don't want our girls to be like that. I grew up doing lots of different extracurriculars, and so I think it just kind of gives them experiences life. They may not hang on to every single extracurricular activity that we put them in, but they will have the experience of having done it. So all of our girls are in band. I think there's a different part of the brain that we have to use to learn music, to learn how to read music, to learn how to play an instrument. We're using all of our hands, and just there's a lot that goes along with that. And I think it is a valuable tool to have. I am also thinking about my girls' future.
I forgot to mention that if you guys are wanting to know more about extracurricular activities and electives, be sure to join the Made to Homeschool community, because this Monday I will be doing a workshop specifically talking about extracurricular activities and electives in our homeschool.
And what can they be great in that would help them pay for their future if they go to college? Or it can be a side gig. One of my daughters plays the saxophone. She might join a jazz band and earn money while she's in college. Who knows, So giving them an opportunity to do things. So when I'm planning extracurriculars, I just don't overbook myself. I try not to overbook myself because I definitely overbooked myself this previous fall, as I've talked about before. But I just try not to overbook myself, but yet give my girls an opportunity to do certain things. And we love it. And we love watching our girls do what they want to do and what they enjoy doing. And when they're done with it and they don't want to do it anymore, we don't fight them on it. We sit down, we talk about the pros and cons. Do you like it? No. Why? All of that. And then if they decide that they don't want to do it anymore, they don't have to. We don't ever force our girls to do anything. Now, they do know if you start a soccer season, you have to finish out the season. We do not quit in the middle of the season unless there's something major going on, a life-changing thing. But if you just don't want to do it because all of a sudden you just don't like it anymore, you have to finish out the season, and then we'll move on to something else. So that is how we do extracurriculars in our lives in the household.